All right, hey, it's Mr. K. We're going to do the Enlightenment Part 1 packet. So it's a little different than what we've been doing the last couple weeks. This type of work is going to be more what you see next year in 10th grade. So I just took screenshots of the packet and put them into this slideshow that I'll read to you and kind of underline and go through it that way. I want to show you first before we start after each little subtopic, you're going to have this part right here where it's going to be a little bit of a chart and it's going to say, if you were a king or a queen, how would the Middle Ages affect you? If you were a part of the clergy and part of the church, how would it affect you? So it'll pause after each section, all right, on this screen so you can answer these questions, okay? So let's start with the Middle Ages and feudalism. Okay. Read through the descriptions of each review topic and then complete the perspectives chart. So, after the fall of Rome in 476 CE, Western Europe was in chaos. Okay, without a centralized government, monarchs, who are the kings, right? They ruled small kingdoms, continuously fought wars against one another for more land and power. So they wanted more land and power. The Catholic Church became the unifying force of the feudal system. Feudalism brought order to each kingdom in Europe. The Catholic Church was the cultural and intellectual power of Central Europe. So that's important there. That'll help you fill out that chart. Monarchs were crowned by the Pope. Most art and music was about Christianity. Most art and music was about Christianity and paid for by the church. The church was the source of all knowledge. The Bible was printed in Latin, which only the educated clergy members could read. So that means if you were a peasant, you couldn't really read the Bible. You just kind of had to go based off of what everybody said. So everyone relied on the interpretations to learn what they were supposed to do and how to live their lives according to God. So that would be those peasants here, okay? The peasants, they didn't know really what to do. Okay? Economically, Europe was isolated. Most people lived their whole lives on the manor, a piece of land owned by a lord, because they could grow all the food they needed there. The manor was self-sufficient, meaning they could work on its own. There was little trade between Western Europe and the rest of the world. As a result, there was a lack of new ideas and innovation. So lack of it means there was none. No new ideas. Okay? So this is kind of a review, and this is just a look at like what feudalism was in medieval social hierarchy. Okay, so at the very top was the church. Okay, and the church appointed the king. Okay, the king he had a big piece of land, and then he would appoint nobles or lords. Okay, and they owned smaller pieces of lands, and then they appointed your vassals and knights, and then at the very bottom were serfs. So if you're at the bottom, do you think life was good or bad? Right? Probably not too good. All right. So we're going to go to this now. And you're going to answer these questions here, okay? So if you were a king, if you were a monarch, a king or a queen, how did the Middle Ages affect you? If you were part of the church, one of the people in charge of the church, how did the Middle Ages affect you? If you were a noble, the nobles were those people that were not at the top, but right here, kind of in the middle. How did the Middle Ages affect you? And then obviously, if you're a peasant, one of the workers or lower class people, how did the Middle Ages affect you? So go ahead and answer those questions.